Good morning, friends. Today we will discuss unit number 3 of chapter 6, that is related to consignment account. Friends, what I have done, I have prepared various notes related to consignment in the form of chart, which will be very easy for you to understand. So first we will discuss on the basis of notes prepared by me, and then we will come back to our study material. So let us start discussion of a consignment account with the help of notes prepared by me. So first you have to understand what is the meaning of the word consign. So to consign means to send. Now the question come in your mind how the system of consignment is work. So for the purpose of your understanding, I have prepared this chart. So this is the example for a consignment related transaction. Suppose Mr. A from Ahmedabad send the goods to Mr. B of Baroda under the condition that goods will be sold by Mr. B on behalf of A. So please consider this wording that goods will be sold by Mr. B on behalf of A. So what is the meaning of this word? Mr. B is not owner of such goods. Mr. A is sending whatever the goods to Mr. B. Mr. B will sell such goods to ultimate customer on behalf of Mr. A. So what is the conclusion? Mr. B does not become the owner of such goods. Ownership of such goods always remain with Mr. A. Further, as the ownership is always remain with Mr. A, the risk of such goods is also with Mr. A. So, this type of transaction is considered as the consignment. Further, whenever Mr. B sells such goods to ultimate customer, suppose in this example, Mr. B sold such goods to Mr. C, as and when sales is made, the buyer, that is Mr. C, will become the owner of the goods. So what is the conclusion? As and when the sales is made by Mr. B to Mr. C, the ownership of the goods is directly transferred from Mr. A to Mr. C. In other words, Mr. B is just like an agent. He does not become owner of the goods. The ownership will directly transfer from Mr. A to Mr. C. In this type of a transaction, the person Mr. A is called as a consigner. So the person who is sending the goods is called as a consigner or a principal. So in our example, Mr. A is sending the goods. So Mr. A is considered as a consigner or a principal. The person to whom the goods are sent, Mr. B, is called a consignee or an agent. Understand? The person to whom goods are sent is called a consignee. The person who is sending the goods is called a consigner. So the consignee is selling the goods on behalf of consigner. So what will be the reward for consignee? So consignee will get the commission from consigner on the basis of sales made by him. Now we will go back to our study material part. In our study material, if you go to page number 6.44, para 3.1, meaning of consignment account. So in accounting term, the consignment account relates to the account dealing with a situation where one person sent the goods to the another person. So in our example, Mr. A is sending goods to the Mr. B on the basis that goods will be sold on behalf and the risk of the former. So under this example, goods will be sold on behalf of A, that is the former person, and risk is also lying with the former person, that is Mr. A. So this type of transaction is considered as a consignment. Now we will discuss various points given under para 3.1. First point, the party which sent the goods is called as a principal, that is the consigner or a principal. So in our example, Mr. A is considered as a consignor or a principal because he is sending the goods. Next, the party to whom the goods are sent is called as a consignee or an agent. So in our example, Mr. B, the person to whom the goods is sent, so he is considered as a consignee or an agent. Point number 3, we have already discussed that ownership of the goods will not pass on to the consignee. So the ownership of such goods will always remain with the consignor. Now point number 4, for the purpose of understanding the point number 4, let us come back to our notes part. So whenever the consignor will send the goods to the consignee, he will not send the invoice to the consignee. Why? Because this is not the sale transaction. This is the transaction related to the consignment. So principal is sending the goods to the agent. So he cannot prepare the sale invoice. So what he will prepare? He will send only pro forma invoice to the consignee. Now question may come in your mind, what is the meaning of pro forma invoice? Pro forma invoice is nothing. It is just a statement containing the particular of a goods sent to the consignee. So it is not an invoice, it is a statement containing the particular of a goods sent to the consignee. Now let us come to our study material, point number 4. The consignor does not send an invoice to the consignee, he sends only a pro forma invoice. It will look like an invoice, but not the invoice. What is the object of sending the pro forma invoice? The object is only to give the information to the consignee regarding the particular of goods sent. Now, the basic point we have already discussed that ownership of goods always remain with the consignor. So, if consignee incur any expense on behalf of the consignor, so consignee can recover such expense from the consignor. So this is the point number 5 of our study material. Consignee recovered from the consignor all the expense incurred by him on the consignment. However, if the party has made a different agreement, then this term can be changed by two parties as mutually agreed by him. But unless and until specifically mentioned in the agreement, consignee recover all the expense from the consignor related to the consignment transaction. Now, whenever the dealing between consignor and consignee is happen for the purpose of consignment transaction, consignor may ask the advance from the consignee. So, whenever the consignee give the advance to the consignee, say for example in the form of a cash or a check or a bills of exchange, such advance will be adjusted ultimately against the sale proceed made by consignee for our consignment goods. Next, now the question may arise, the consignee is an agent for the purpose of principal. So what the consignee will get the reward or a consideration? So consignee will get the commission calculated on the basis of a gross sale. So commission will be the two types. Let us come back to our notes part. Commission will be two types. Del creditor commission or a normal commission. What is the del creditor commission? In a case of a del creditor commission, whatever the sales is made by the consignee, if any bad debt is incurred, then such bad debt will be borne by the consignee and not the consignor. So if consignor is paying del creditor commission to consignee, then a bad debt on a sale made by him will be borne by consignee. However, if a del creditor commission is not paid, then who will bear the bad debt? Bad debt will be borne by the consignor. So this is the basic difference between the normal commission, that is the ordinary commission, or a del creditor commission. Now come back to our study material. Here the point number 7, consignee is entitled for his work a commission calculated on a gross sale. However, for an ordinary commission given to the consignee will not be responsible for any bad debt that may arise. However, if the agent is made to be responsible for a bad debt, consignor must have to give a commission called a Dell Creditor Commission. Further, how it will be calculated? It will be calculated on a total sale. So this commission is calculated on a total sale, not on a credit sale, unless specifically agreed by any other agreement between two parties. So understand what is the meaning of Dell Creditor Commission and ordinary commission, and who will bear the bad debt in case of a Dell Creditor Commission or in case of a ordinary commission. Any doubt up till now? Okay, let's come to forward. Now we will discuss another point from my notes. Whenever the consignee will make the sale of goods of consignor, he will send the statement called account sale. The statement called account sale. So consignee will give the statement called account sale to the consignor. What this statement contain? This statement will contain the information regarding the four items. First is the sales made by him. Second one is the expenses incurred on behalf of the consignor. Third one is the commission earned by the consignee, and fourth one is the ultimate amount which is due to the consignor. So there are the four items which the account sale statement will contain: sales made by him, expenses incurred by the consignor, commission earned by the consignee, and amount due to the consignor. So come back to our study material. Consignee will send a periodical statement called account sale. It will give the information about sales made by consignee, expenses incurred on behalf of consignor, and if any commission earned by consignee, and ultimate balance due to the consignor. Now, what the consignor is interested in it? Usually the consignor has an interest in knowing the profit or loss on each consignment. So consignor is having the interest only to know whether it is making a profit or loss on each consignment basis. Understand? Now we will discuss para 3.2, that is the difference between the consignment and a sale. So we have pointed out the difference point. So first point is regarding the ownership. So we have already learned that in case of the consignment transaction, ownership of the goods always remain with the consignor. Consignee will not become the owner. So ownership is transferred from consignor to directly buyer. In any case, consignee will not become the owner of the goods. However, in case of the sale transaction, ownership of the goods will transfer from seller to buyer as and when sale is happen. So understand, the first point difference is regarding the ownership. Next difference. The next difference is regarding the return of goods. Under the consignment transaction, consignee can return the unsold goods to the consignor. However, if the sale is happen, then buyer can return back such good to the seller only if the seller is agreed. So this is the second point of difference regarding the return of goods. Next difference is regarding who will bear the loss of the goods. In case of the consignment, the ownership is always with consignor. So consignor will bear the loss of the goods. However, in case of the sale transaction, as and when sale is happen, the ownership is transferred to the buyer. So it is the buyer who will bear the loss after the transfer of goods. Next, what is the relationship between the party? This is the fourth difference. So relationship between the party, that is the consignor or a consignee, is a that of principal and an agent. So the consignor is a principal and a consignee is the agent. In case of the sale transaction, the relationship between seller and a buyer is a creditor and a debtor. So the relationship between seller and buyer is a debt of creditor and a debtor. However, in a case of a consignment transaction, the relationship between consignor and a consignee is a debt of principal and agent. Now, next difference is regarding to the expenses. If any expense is done by the consignee to receive such goods or to keep it safely is borne by the consignor unless otherwise agreed. So all the expense relating to the consignment is borne by the consignor. However, in a case of a sale transaction, after the transfer of the goods, that is, after the ownership of the goods is transferred, all the expense must be incurred by the buyer and borne by the buyer. So this is the 5 difference between the consignment and the sale. So first different point is regarding ownership. Second different point is regarding the return of goods. Third difference is regarding who will bear the loss of the goods. Fourth difference is regarding the relationship. And fifth difference is regarding the expenses who will borne. Next, what is the difference between commission and a discount? Many people get confused. They will understand that commission and a discount is same, but it is not actually same. What is the meaning of commission? So commission is the remuneration given to the employee or agent for providing certain services or performing certain tasks. Same for example, commission may be given to the salesman that, same for example, 5% of the turnover made by him or a 2.5% of the bulk purchase made by him at extra. So commission is nothing but a remuneration given to the employee or agent relating to the services performed in connection with a sale, purchase or a collection at extra. Generally, it will be calculated on the basis of a percentage of an amount involved. So we have discussed just like 2.5% of a turnover, 1% of a turnover at extra. Whatever is commission earned by the person is considered as an income in the books of the account who is earning such commission. However, whatever is commission paid by the person is considered as an expense in the books of account who is incurring such commission expense. So understand you what do you mean by commission? Now we will understand what is the meaning of discount. So the discount is nothing but a reduction or a rebate allowed. Discount is nothing but any reduction or a rebate allowed, and it will be two type of discount, cash discount and a trade discount. So what do you mean by cash discount? Cash discount is an allowance given for a settlement of a debt before it is due. Suppose Mr. A has to take from Mr. B rupees 50,000. So Mr. A will say to Mr. B, if you pay rupees 50,000 billing amount today instead of due date, I will give you 2% discount. So if Mr. B will pay the amount today, then Mr. A will give 2% discount. Such discount is considered for the purpose of a settlement of a debt before it is due. So it is considered as a cash discount. So this cash discount is an expense for the purpose of person who is giving discount. So here Mr. A is giving discount, so it is considered as an expense. However, it is the income for the purpose of Mr. B to whom the cash discount is given. Now another point is trade discount. What do you mean by trade discount? Trade discount is an allowance given to the wholesaler or a bulk buyer on the list price or a retail price. It is considered as a trade discount. Suppose price of my goods which I am going to purchase is 100 rupees and the person is giving me a 30% discount on the list price. So he will be giving me the product for 70 rupees only. So it is considered as a trade discount. What will be the entry in your books of account? The trade discount will not shown separately in the books of account. It is shown by way of a deduction from a cost of purchase. So what will be the cost of purchase in this type of a transaction? In our example, the cost of purchase is 70 and not the 100. So understand what is the difference between commission or a discount. Further, the discount may be a two type, cash discount or a trade discount. So I hope you will understand up till now. This is the sum of the pages of consignment account. Now we will understand what will be the accounting entry for consignment transaction in the books of consignor. In para 3.3 of this study material, it is given. First, we will understand by the way of a note. So this is the note. You have to remember only two golden rules for the purpose of accounting entry in the books of consignor. So what will be the two golden rules? First rule is that all the costs and expenses debited to the separate consignment account. So all the costs as well as the expenses related to the consignment is debited to the consignment account. Next, all the sales made by consignee is credited to the consignment account, and cost of unsold goods, that is the stock with consignee, is credited to the consignment account. So this is just like a trading account, that sales is credited and unsold stock is credited to the trading account, but in case of a consignment transaction, sales as well as the unsold stock is credited to the consignment account. So these are the two golden rules. Any cost or expense is debited to the consignment account, and sales or a cost of unsold goods is credited to the consignment account. These two golden rules you must remember for the purpose of solving the problem in your examination. Now we will understand from our study material what will be the journal entry in the books of consignor. So whenever the goods are consigned or dispatched to the consignee, what will be the entry? Consignment account debit to goods sent on the consignment. So whenever the goods are sent to the consignee, what will be the entry? Consignment account debit to goods sent on the consignment. Same for example, in our chart, Mr. A is sending the goods to Mr. B. So what will be the entry? Consignment to Mr. B account debit to goods sent on the consignment. Next entry is any expenses incurred by the consignor relating to the consignment. What will be the entry? Consignment account debit to supplier account, to cash account or to bank account. So any expenses incurred by the consignor is debited to the consignment account. Golden rule number 1. Next, if any advance is received from the consignee, so what will be the entry? The entry will be what is coming to us, bank or a cash. So bank account debit or a cash account debit, who is giving money to us? Consignee. So consignee's account will be credited. So what will be the entry for advance received from a consignee? Bank account debit to consignee's personal account. Next, if any sales is made by the consignee, an account sells the containing the information regarding the sales made by him, then what will be the entry for such sale transaction? So from whom we have to take money? We have to take money from the consignee. So what will be the entry? Consignee's personal account debit to consignment account. Same for example, in our chart, Mr. B is selling to Mr. C. So we will debit consignee, that is Mr. B's account debit. Understand? And what we will credit? We will credit the consignment account. Remember the golden rule number 2, sales will be credited to the consignment account. Now, any expense is incurred by the consignee. So even if the consignee is incurring the expenses, he can recover back from the consignor. So what will be the entry for expenses incurred by the consignee? So it is the expense for consignment. So consignment account debit to who has incurred the expense on our behalf? Consignee. So consignment account debit to consignee's personal account. Next, any cash, check or a bank draft or a promissory note received from a consignee on an ultimate settlement. So what will be the entry? What is coming to us is debited. So cash, bank or a bill receivable is coming to us. So cash, bank or a bill receivable account is debited. Who is giving money to us? Consignee. So consignee account is credited. Suppose in our example, Mr. B is giving for such consignment goods rupees 50,000 to us. So cash or a bank account is debited to Mr. B. Say consignee's account is credited. Next point is regarding the bad debts. So now we will come to our notes part. Point number 3. Bad debts will be debited to the consignment account by consignor if a DEL creditor commission is not paid to the consignee. So if a DEL creditor commission is not paid to the consignee, who will bear the bad debts? Bad debt will be borne by the consignor. So it will be the expense for a consignment. So what will be the entry for a bad debt when a DEL creditor commission is not paid to the consignee? So consignment account is debit to consignee's personal account. Why consignment account is debited? Because it's the expense relating to the consignment. And why we have credited consignee's account? Because consignee will give rupees less by the amount of a bad debt. So consignee account debit to consignment account debit to consignee's personal account. However, when the DEL creditor commission is paid to the consignee, when a DEL creditor commission is paid to the consignee, consignor need not worry about the bad debt, because in this case, bad debts will be borne by the consignee. Therefore, for consignor books of account, no entry is required to be passed. So here, if DEL creditor commission is paid to the consignee, no entry in the books of account of the consignor is required to be passed for such bad debt. Now, many times it may happen that consignee will take over the goods on his own account, our consignment goods. So what will be the entry? Who is taking our goods? Consignee. So consignee personal account debit to consignment account. It is just like a sales entry that we have made sales to our debtors. So what will be the entry? Debtor account debit to sales account. But in a consignment transaction, sales is credited to consignment account. So we will credit consignment account. And who will the person taking our goods? Consignee. So ultimate entry will be consignee's personal account debit to consignment account. Now it may happen that at the time of finalizing your books of account, there may be a stock lying with your consignee. So what will be the entry for the stock lying with the consignee? So it will be considered your goods, because ownership is always with the consignor. So consignment stock account debit to consignment account. So cost of unsold good always credited to the consignment account, and consignment stock account debit to consignment account for the purpose of entry in the books of accounts. Next, and the last entry is relating to the commission payable to the consignee. What will be the entry? So commission is the expense for the purpose of consignment. So consignment account debit. To whom we have to give commission? We have to give commission to the consignee. So entry will be consignee's personal account is credited. So entry will be consignment account debit to consignee's personal account. So these are the some of the discussion for the consignment. So you must remember two golden rules. Any cost or any expense must be debited to the consignment account. All the sales must be credited to the consignment account. Cost of goods unsold will be credited to the consignment account. If a DEL creditor commission is paid, then bad debt will be borne by the consignee and no entry is required to be passed in the books of account of consignor. However, if the DEL creditor commission is not paid, then bad debt will be borne by the consignor and the entry in the books of account is required to be passed. So this is the some of the basic discussion I have made. I hope you will understand. If anybody has doubt, then he can ask me definitely. Thank you. very much.